Hey people, playing Von Karma here. So today I'm going to be looking at an old guide that I assisted with back in February 2019. This is called The Definitive Guide to King K. Rool. This was far from definitive, and some production stuff happened behind the scenes where I wasn't actually able to fact check it so much. This guide is very popular. In fact, it's got almost 40,000 views on YouTube, and for a very long time it was considered to be one of the best guides for the character of all time. However, because obviously the meta has advanced a lot in 2 years, this guide is very antiquated now, but people still cite a lot of information from it that I don't like. And so today I'm going to be reviewing the guide and giving my thoughts on everything that's in there. Now, as is the case with the Smithers Guide, which is actually the inspiration for me doing this now, I'm not doing this to start drama. I'm doing it because I love the community and I love to talk about King K. Rool. I don't often have many opportunities to do so. So I hope that this could be an educational video for everybody, including the maker Darkspark Gaming, because I'm often told I know a lot about this character, but I often don't share it enough. I know I've done loads of resources, but this stuff I just have never put to paper, and I love talking about it in these types of videos. I also want to say thank you to everybody who gave me the positive feedback about the Smithers Guide review. That took a massive amount of time, and I actually talked to Smithers myself, and he's a very nice person and very down to earth. We talked a lot about K. Rool, really cool stuff. I loved it, and I hope I do this more. So again, not starting drama. It's just nuanced critique of an old guide that I believe needs something like this as a second watch for those who are just getting into the character. Now, a lot of your antiquated takes are obviously going to be deconstructed. I'll also say when the take was good for the time, because I was obviously there for this whole thing. I was there for the meta developments, so I get to give a load of history and maybe talk about some users, some old friends who I don't talk to much anymore. I miss you, Kincaid. I miss you, dude. If you're watching this, come on, man. Come to my DMs. We could talk some shit. Oh man, I miss Kincaid. Apparently, he's still the mod. That's really cool to think about. Anyway, let's get into it. This is nostalgia to me, by the way. I'm nostalgic for this old intro. God. Okay, so some trivia, because people don't often know about Cossus Boss, and I actually tried recording this a few minutes ago, but I forgot to actually set my audio input capture. I'm a fucking idiot. So Cossus Boss goes by Vicar these days, and was originally a Smash 4 Game & Watch player. Yeah, people don't know much about this guy. They just thought he was a one-hit wonder, but no, he was actually pretty notable in the community. So I actually asked Mulk, I think it was, about the guy. He says, "Oh yeah, I suppose it was a Game Watch player." Also, a funny thing here, there's actually an error on the stream. They put J-Tails as with the King K. Rool thing, and I didn't notice that. That's gonna live with me forever. But yeah, so people worshipped Cossus Boss for a very long time and called him the top player, but he only competed at this tournament with King K. Rool, and then left because he didn't like Ultimate. And then they went to play Banjo, I think, eventually. But they didn't stay with King K. Rool for long at all. I think it was 2 weeks, maybe up to a month. And the Smash Wiki page had Cossus Boss on for, I think it was a year or so, maybe into early 2021. And then I said to them, "Hey, this person hasn't played the character ever. They're only notable for basically winning on launch events. Well, not winning. You're not even winning. I don't think it was just top cut. I can't remember. But yeah, it's really funny that people talk about costs. And if you actually watch the old VODs, because I actually have a playlist for them on my channel because I was very interested in it. The gameplay is about average. It's just that at the time for release they were very good, but these days they're not much different from the average King K. Rool player. And the playstyle is very antiquated. Obviously got all the old lag and everything. But generally, a lot of stuff that it did was very special. It's just people didn't know how to deal with down throw. People didn't know how to deal with crowd. People didn't know how to deal with half of what K. Rool does. People still don't. I understand, but back then it was even worse. Just people still don't know how to deal with crowd. It's so beautiful.
all firing the cannonball, okay, and now he's got the suction in case Ness comes close, but nah, not gonna get anything off of that. Down throw, yep, you're dead. Wow.
I'm just gonna ask, like, how do you start a guide like this with just like a down throw clip? Like, I guess at the time it was funny, but like, no. Oh, by the way, the down throw nerf meant nothing, and it actually improved the throw because it's better at higher percents. I just want to point that out because it's really funny how people like think it's like awful.
King K. Rool is a very thick boy. With access to his crown and his cannon, he has range.
Actually, AG1+, I haven't heard that name in ages. How is that person? Let me know in the comments.
Unlike most heavyweights. Being the second heaviest character in the game, he has amazing survivability along with a great recovery to compensate it.
Well, I just want to say this down air kills you. They cuss out immediately, but like it's just really funny.
K. Rool focuses on making his opponent play around his crown while also abusing them with his super armored attacks. The complex.
He doesn't have super armor on any move. I know it's a misuse of a term, but I just like to nitpick.
Neutral, K. Rool players usually have to rely on dealing more damage than their opponent. Being comboed isn't bad as K. Rool since you always will be dealing large amounts of damage.
That clip wasn't very impressive damage at all for what you've got. I just want to point that out. And also, being comboed matters a lot. So, I know I've got a record saying that your stock starts at 60. This is true, I'll never dismiss that. However, the situation after the combo is the real issue. King K. Rool doesn't really care what percent he's at. I mean, I've seen top K. Rools live to like 200 and still win, because what matters is actually killing this fat bastard. He is extremely heavy, and his survivability is nuts. But being comboed also means you're put into bad situations. Many optimal combos for every character will put you into a spot where they could probably either spike you, or go for a reset, or set up for a kill confirm. These are all possibilities when you're being comboed, which is why it's important to learn combo escape options, landing, getting off the ledge, etc. Because you don't want to be in those situations. If you, like, for example, like K. Rool's forward throw into dash jab is used over dash attack sometimes because it puts the opponent into a ledge trap situation, allowing you to get way more damage than one dash attack would do. And that's a confirm as well if you know how to do it. You have to, like, it's difficult, but I think I do explain it in the guide somewhere. If not, I'll probably make one at some point because it's a really nice thing to do. Obviously dash attack is optimal in most situations, but if the opponent can be put to the ledge, do it. But the reason why, the reason why I do that is for a better situation rather than anything else. So yes, being combo does matter, just not in the way that you think. This is a very misleading statement. Back then, obviously it matters, but yeah. And also, when it comes to the high damage thing, what you mean is that he has a very high comeback factor. But the thing is, if you're constantly playing in disadvantage, that's not a good way to play the game. If you're, which is another reason why King K. Rool will never break high tier. He'll always be like mid tier at best because you often are playing at a disadvantage, because of the nature of heavies. Heavies are often playing at a disadvantage and blowing your opponent when you least expect it. That's kind of like how they work. Obviously, it's not always the case. I do like to leave things open-ended, but this is just how it generally is on most play levels.
The key to playing against K. Rool is to either disarm his crown or...
Top King K. Rool players don't really care about crown being disarmed. Here's the thing. King K. Rool can play around his own crown so well if you actually understand it. It's just that people don't react on Wi-Fi. That's the reason why people think crown being taken is so bad. So the disadvantage to taking the crown is that you are leaving yourself without your normals. So many characters that don't have good special moves, for example, actually, who doesn't have specials? Let's say Rosalina. So Rosalina has Star Bits, the Luma sending out thing, and an up beat that doesn't deal damage, and Grav Pull, which does nothing when you have the crown, obviously. So Rosalina's left with two moves. So oftentimes, if Rosalina takes the crown, you can just wail on her because her good normals aren't able to be used anymore. You have the Luma, but if you use a single Luma normal, you end up having to drop the crown as well. So what people have to do is Z drop the crown before attacking you and stuff like that. So you have to do is absurd playing around things. I believe there are ways to use some normals while you do have the crowd. I think it's like through like certain buffer mechanics, but it doesn't really. But you have to do all that just to not do it. You know, the convenience isn't there. So the player is inconvenienced while they have the crowd if they're using some characters. Like for example, like if Ness takes the crowd, he doesn't have PK Fire anymore. But that's just for like on the low level players. I mean, I personally think PK Fire is bad, but you know, it's not awful. But like it's just like it's just sound cue makes it very easy to react to. Is what I'm saying. Like online obviously is awful. I hate it online. But anyway, so also like here are some projectile counterplay options that you have. You have gut check, which is less lag these days. You have forward air, which clanks with crowd and lets you take it back almost instantly. You have nair to armor it, and then take it back immediately. You have dash attack, which is incredible. Pivot cancel forward tilt. You up tilt can clank with it if it's ever above because you had tangibility. Back air can clank with it. So many things can clank with that thing. Hell, you even have your cannonball to clank with it, and then you can take it afterwards as well. There are so many ways to take the crowd if they take it. And also, another thing, if you throw crowd and you jump out and you start advancing your advantage on the opponents, some King K. Rool players will give up stage control to get back their crowd. You don't need to. Crowd will despawn on its own and then spawn on your head. So you don't need to like do anything there. You know, also if you look at like top King K. Rool gameplay from people like Legasini, Huto, Katoru, they all have like a lack of regard for crowd when it's off the head. Because the thing is, like the reason why crowd comes back to you is because now it'll be behind you, so it's within your area of stage control. You control that area of the stage and the opponent is away from it. And if they try to jump over you, well, you can contest that. If they can't run through you because of the jostling mechanics, and King K. Rool is extremely difficult to like cross up because of how large he is. So you can wall them out with your normals, and then crowd will come back to you on its own. So you don't need to do any of that. Hell, in fact, it's less committal to take the crowd because within 30 frames of respawning, it automatically crowd cancels for you. So you're being given crowd on a silver platter as long as you have advantage. Now, obviously, you lose that access to crowd, but within that time that you're going to get the crowd, it's probably going to have despawned by that point within like a few extra seconds, and then there's actually a start of the crowd itself. This is obviously an emerging trend, and back then it was a decent take, but you don't need. But crowd being disarmed is a non-issue, and in fact, in some matchups, it can even be a benefit, which I think as people start learning how to deal with like not actually having the crowd on their head, I think a lot of King K. Rool players will just immediately improve. It's a very weird thing. Anyway, this is 13 minutes and a minute in. Wow, that's not a good sign.
Or use your own projectiles against him, as he is a ranged fighter, but using projectiles against K. Rool can be hard because he gets the bulk of his damage in close range fighting. With the collection of gimmicks.
So, as I pointed out just now, you all know how to counterplay projectiles now. Thank you very much.
Including 2 projectiles and a varying utility and a counter. If you like to annoy and bewilder your opponent, you've come to the right place.
I just want to ask, what percent was Falcon at to be upthrown and dying on FD? Like, that kill percent is like 300. But like, how was he mashing so fast though? That's another thing. Like, I have a feeling like he spliced that because like, there's no way that was happening. It just seems so abstract. Maybe I'm just being pedantic, but like, it just didn't look right.
To all my King K. Rool fans out there, welcome to Thick Boy Nation. And
I miss what used to be called Thick Boy Nation. Bring that shit back. Bring that back, people. Bring back Thick Boy Nation.
This is the definitive guide to King K. Rool.
Oh, how wrong that was. February 2019. Definitive. Oh dear. I like Smith's name way better. The Collegiate Guide. That was a beautiful name.
Please remember that there are timestamps in the description, so if you want us to get to a certain section.
Okay, so I just want to say, like, he based this on my guide, but like half the stuff in here wasn't really like there.
Of the video, please do so.
Oh boy.
When it comes to mobility options with King K. Rool, he doesn't really have much, as his run speed is 68th, which is like one of the worst in the game.
Actually, it's equal with Mario's. And also for his size, which people always forget, his run speed is actually really fucking quick. So a thing that people forget is that size and range will complement your character's speed. The bigger your hitboxes are, the better they'll complement your speed. Because all speed does is complement your threat range. It complements how you get it, your sphere of influence. What actually matters is the range of your attacks in conjunction with that. For example, Martha and Lucina have absolutely terrible airspeed overall. Like, oftentimes there's a lot of drag when they're in the air, so when you're playing them, you'll often be in the air for a bit longer than you would expect. And that leaves them vulnerable to being, like, having a landings course. Like, if you catch a Mars player's landings consistently, they just mold for, like, 3 hours. Now, with King K. Rool, his run speed being equal to Mario's, but also with more range than Mario, and a larger character, means his sphere of influence will be bigger than Mario when he's running up to you. So this is why when you see a good King K. Rool player play, they look so fast, because they understand this fundamental, and they will just wail on somebody because they doesn't understand it. This is why people always say you have to respect King K. Rool when grounded, because, like, for example, his dash cancel grab goes on forever. It just goes like a battlefield platform in length. His burst range is huge, and very unreactable in many areas. So this take is very bad. Like, and for some reason, people still insist on saying this, even when I point this out to them. They don't seem to comprehend it. But watch how he moves and everything, and just think about his actual hitboxes and crowd and stuff when thinking about it, because he's actually quite quick.
And then his initial dash is around 27th to 42nd, according to Kurigane Hammer. That is pretty decent when it comes to initial dash, but I don't think that's going to help King K. Rool that much, except for when it comes to dash dancing. King K. Rool also does not have a crawl, and he has a relatively good jump squat, as the jump squat has been changed all around the board in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Half of this is just weird. His initial dash is fantastic. It's his turnaround that's awful. Like, if you turn around that initial dash, your foot sticks out, and it results in you having a turnaround that's just as bad as Falcon's. But his initial dash overall is just, like, great, because it's what gives him his massive burst range, and it's also why when you grab someone with your dash grab, you literally drag them across with you for a few frames. His traction is nuts with that, and also keep in mind you actually have a Smash 4 Falcon dash grab. So there's some weird Falcon similarities with King K. Rool. I don't like it.
Also, something worth taking note of is King K. Rool's airspeed is extremely bad. His air acceleration is also pretty bad. So you want to take.
His air acceleration is fine. He falls like a brick. He falls like not that much slower than DDD. And also that vertical momentum also means that it's quite difficult to kill him vertically, kind of like how Brawl DDD was. And that's also why a DDT stock cannot be taken vertically. That's why people say it, because you can't. His gravity is just so large. And another thing with his airspeed is that when people look at the statistics of King K. Rool, they don't actually think like ever. Like, they don't like put, because things like the numbers are there, but the thing is, like, movement statistics hardly matter except when you're actually like playing when you're actually in context. Like, I know it sounds contradictory, but what I mean is that you can look at the stats and make theory, but you're not actually looking at experiencing the numbers. When you're playing King K. Rool, you experience the numbers, and you know that he feels fast because he is. Now, for example, like when you dash and you jump, like that transitions into your jump. So the air acceleration doesn't matter, because with King K. Rool, to make up for that, you have a really good initial dash to catapult you forward, along with massive hitboxes on your moves. Therefore, your range when you're jumping in is very large. This is why King K. Rool can literally attack you from 3/4 away from the stage and still hit you with forward air. Because of this, people don't experience the numbers, but they will just continue to like be pseudo-intellectual with the numbers. This is a trend that needs to stop in the K. Rool player base, because this actually does really annoy me.
All of these into your notepad, because when you're playing King K. Rool, especially when playing most heavyweights in Smash Bros, you're not gonna have.
Notice how when he's reviewing this, he's full hopping and then moving forward. Now, if you've actually played this game, you'll know that with many characters, it's very similar, because it is.
Much in the mobility department. With all that out the way, it's time to talk about the thick aspect of King K. Rool, his belly armor. King K. Rool has super armor on a variety of his moves, most notably his neutral air, down smash, and forward tilt. These moves are extremely good for King K. Rool because since you have super armor on your moves, only the heaviest hits can break the super armor. Belly armor will break on King K. Rool once you hit a maximum of 28.8%.
So it's not super armor. Also, the armor numbers were buffed, so like it's 36.02 now. Well, technically it's 18.01, but it splits between King K. Rool and the armor, so it's effectively 36.02. But also, if it breaks, is it super armor? It's more like a HP based armor system, similar to stone.
On your belly, which will then put King K. Rool in a shield stun animation, which leaves him open to punish.
It's not shield stun, it's shield break.
Be very careful against characters who have really strong attacks because they'll be able to take out King K. Rool's belly armor with one hit.
I'll say this before, I'll say it again. Like, anybody who actually has the armor broken in one hit deserves it, because why are you like most attacks don't deal that much damage? Like even with the new buff, like you know, like. So from a modern perspective, if you tried to nair against Hero with critical hit, oomph, psych up, forward smash, you're a fucking idiot. If you try to armor Ganondorf's reverse Warlock Punch with dash attack, you're a fucking idiot. Hell, you even have super armor on that move. Why would you do it? If you try to guard against fully charged Ganondorf forward smash, you're fucking stupid. If you try to guard against like Hero's Kafriz while your armor's damaged, you're a fucking idiot. Yes, you should be careful, but don't do it. like you have a shield, use it, and like all these attacks I just mentioned won't break your shield. Does Ganondorf's reverse Warlock Punch still do that? I mean, it used to. I don't think it does anymore though. But like, if you do any of that, you're stupid, and you shouldn't really be playing the character. Well, like if you intend to not change that, at least please play this character, please do. But please, I don't know why people always point this out as if it's some negative, because your armor heals and everything as well. Like if you're using the armor properly, it should never break.
Whenever you see your belly armor cracking with King K. Rool, just know that your belly armor will regenerate 5% per second. So you may
5% a second is completely incorrect. If it was 5% a second, your armor would restore at that point in time in 6 seconds. It doesn't. It restores in around. Back then, it restored in around 45 seconds. These days, it's 60 seconds because the armor numbers weren't changed in regards to the maximum threshold. So yeah, that's dumb. I think it was 0.5% a second or something like that. I don't remember the specific regen numbers. I just know that every 7 seconds it's 1 HP, 1.12 HP.
You need to play a little bit defensive to let your belly armor regenerate and then get back into the fray. This is something that's really useful to know when playing King K. Rool.
I don't know, man. It just seems very on the surface.
Alrighty, now it's time to discuss the big banana of the bunch, King K. Rool's specials. In this section of the video, I'll be discussing King K. Rool's specials, the part that makes him different from every other character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. King K. Rool's neutral special is called Blunderbuss. Blunderbuss is probably one of the most intriguing projectiles in this game because once you hit the opponent with it, you can suck in the cannonball and shoot it back out at various different angles. The 3 angles that you are given once.
Some random trivia. So far what I said is just fine, but when it comes to the cannonball, so it's a reshoot thing. When they buffed it, when they reduced the start frames by 5, they didn't fix the actual nozzle thing. So if you actually go into frame by frame and you reshoot, you'll see the cannonball come out within the blunderbuss itself. But as you can see, this is actually how it's supposed to look. I just think it's really funny to observe.
Once you suck in the cannonball for the second shot is a forwards diagonal angle, an upwards angle, and a backwards angle. All of these inputs are used by holding the neutral B button, so once you shoot the cannonball, you have to hold the neutral B button to reel the cannonball back in with the suction from the gun, and then you can aim it in one of the 3 set directions. Another attribute to King K. Rool's blunderbuss is the ability to inhale opponents with it. If they're close enough to King K. Rool, you can actually inhale them and then shoot them in any of the 3 set directions that were used for shooting the cannonball once you reel it back in. So it's kind of the same process, it's just once the person's closer to you, you can shoot them upwards, you can shoot them backwards, or in the forward angled direction. It's also worth noting that King K. Rool can also fall through platforms when shooting his neutral B. This allows for many different types of mix-ups and also the ability to shoot cannonballs at different heights.
It's not really a mix-up at this point, is it? You King K. Rool players will do it, think it's the biggest brain move ever, but it really isn't. Like, most of the time, like, I just tomahawk with it, and then I'll hold down and just fall through the platform anyway. Like, the only time I ever slip through platforms is when I'm ledge trapping with it, but even then, like, that ledge trap's kind of weird.
Because you can shoot your cannonball while falling through a platform, or to shoot it in between a platform. Let's say you're on top of a platform and you want to shoot it in the middle of a platform or at a certain spot on a character, you can do that with the ability to fall through platforms. Falling through platforms when shooting neutral B is very simple, as all you have to do is just hold down your control stick and King K. Rool will fall through the platform shooting his cannonball.
Those are awful trajectories for the cannonball. Like, if you want to aim like right in between the platform, like right on it, so it's like clipping into it. That's the best way to do it, because that also hits DK when he's standing, so he's forced to full hop over it. I think that's one of the best ways to use it in the game.
General tips to know about King K. Rool's blunderbuss is that it deals 15.6% damage and does 20.4% damage on reshoot. This is something that's very important because if you know the damage to King K. Rool's blunderbuss, you'll know when to use the suck-in section of the cannonball or when to shoot the cannonball back out at your opponent. This move is relatively laggy.
Wait, how is that damage part relevant at all? Like, the damage, like, I've never really like thought about the damage. I just let it rack up. Like, how does it tell you when to inhale the opponent or something? Like, I think he means like when it's like cannonball to suck true combo, but I hit that once every like 15 games. Like, I rarely do I ever get the opportunity to hit somebody with cannonball up close, because by that point they're often they're hitting me for using such an awful option. It's frame 26. So, that's like approaching with back air, but worse.
As it starts up on frame 30, and the reshoot starts up on frame 35. The frame data to King K. Rool's neutral B is extremely important, and it's something that you always want to remember because this move is really, really laggy, and it's not something that you want to use all the time or use repeatedly because you'll get punished from it. Alright everyone, it's time to talk about the bread and butter of King K. Rool, his side B.
How far we've come where we used to think that Crown Rag was its best move. And now we just spam forward there like crackheads. How far have we come?
AKA the crown throw.
It's Crown Rag!
King K. Rool's crown throw, or crownerang, is probably one of the best projectiles in the game as it has
Lol.
transcendent priority, which means that when you throw the...
It's not transcendent. If it's transcendent, it'll be like Wolf's Blaster. It's not. So, it's not. It's just clanks on projectiles really well, because it's an entity that spawns projectiles. At the time people used to think it was, but like even like in January we was like saying to not call it transcendent because it isn't. This guide has allowed that rumor to last forever.
The crown, it can go through a lot of projectiles, but projectiles that also have transcendent priority will go straight through the crown, as will it. This is amazing projectile mainly because
if a transcendent projectile goes through the projectile, then it's sub, which it doesn't. It like clanks with it, sort of. It's hard to explain. Like, transcendent projectiles just ignore each other, but like in this scenario, they don't ignore each other.
when you throw the crown, it has a sent hitbox and returning hitbox, which allows for combo potential.
That multi-hit hits like once every 1,000 years. It's so bad.
K. Rool's crown throw starts at frame 26 and is a total of 63 frames. This attack deals 10% damage and also has a returning hitbox that deals 8% damage. Along with crown throw comes many different techniques that have been discovered by various members of the King K. Rool Discord. With that in mind, I'll be introducing the creator of the crown squatting technique.
Hey there, thanks.
Oh god, it's me. So, crown squatting is a bit of an antiquated term. It's basically just crown cancelling using the using your jump squat.
Thanks to fans of Phoenix for having me in this video. I'm Plague Von Karma, the lead labber and resource man from the King K. Rool Discord.
Oh god, I misgendered myself too? Wow, what was wrong with me?
So, I'm here to explain crown squatting for all of you K. Rool players watching this video, obviously. I actually discovered this tech by accident on Quick Play against the Mega Man. After recreating what occurred, well, let's say I found something quite incredible. Crown squatting is one of the only ways to skip the entire crown pickup animation in a way that doesn't leave you at a frame disadvantage. Usually you have to shield or use an attack, both of which are quite punishable. This, however, isn't at all. To perform the tech, simply enter the jump squat animation just before the crown hits you. The gut jump squat is 3 frames long, so this can be quite difficult at first. However, when you consider how the crown is coming to you as you enter the state, this isn't as hard as it initially seems.
I didn't really explain anything there, did I? Like, in regards to, like, not as hard as it seems. Like, I guess it's because I find this technique easy to do these days, but yeah.
To practice, the crown should be roughly 1 training stage unit away from you. The crown also makes a distinctive, consistent noise. Once the crown has made 4 of these, that's your cue to jump.
4 of these when you are standing still doing nothing. What was wrong with me?
Once you understand this, you'll be getting it quite consistently in no time. If you've executed it correctly, there are 2 outcomes that generally do the same thing. If you've done it for a frame perfectly, the animation is simply skipped. The crown will simply appear on K. Rool's head as if it would never throw it at all.
So this actually happens with anything, because again, this is actually just a normal crown cancel. We just called it crown squatting for a while because we didn't quite understand it yet. But also, it's a nice way to like refer to it rather than just saying crown cancel for everything. It's a weird term.
If you've done it on frames 2 or 3 of jump squat, there's a green flash as if you use an attack to do a crown cancel. With these 2 things in mind, it is more than easy to practice. If you're worried about consistency, try putting a dash down spot and try to jump.
No, crown sliding is by no means comparable.
From this, you will execute a crown bounce or crown slide instead, regardless of anything you've done, allowing you to still benefit from the movement these 2 techs can provide instead. This is quite good for new players who are trying to understand the tech stuff, and well, once you've done this a few times, you could probably start doing crown squats instead. So how...
Oh wait, did I push this as for replacement? God, what was wrong with me? Crown squat, like being in the air is a commitment in and of itself. Oh no, that was awful.
How can this be applied though? Well, let's consider how we're saving 17 frames for the pickup animation and getting the crown back. Think for a moment, there's quite a lot of stuff open up, isn't it? For example, you can use the crown twice. Thanks to this, you can approach with it.
That is an awful clip of it. So what I meant by that is how you can literally use crown, run up to it, then short up crown immediately. I called these crown chains for a little bit. I think I used that term for like 2 weeks. But I think I should bring that back because like you can actually be very oppressive with it. But this clip is awful.
A huge amount of horizontal pressure, and you can retreat if the situation appears unfavourable instead. In some matchups such as against Cloud though, this could be quite a strong play. Note that in this context, Crown stops Blade Beam and keeps going without care, so you're really starting to get better in the matchup here. Another possibility is using short hops, which can be quite strong for pressure and getting back to the ground quickly. Forward aerials among your best bets here, as it has some small angles to cancel frames, and puts the opponent into disadvantage immediately, while setting up for an almost...
What also cancel frames? Wait, am I talking about full hop?
Crown. It's quite good, isn't it? Anyway, that's about what we really have for the tech at the moment, but we're still labbing it in the Discord, and well, let's see if this gets better. This is Plague Von Karma, goodbye, and back to Phantom Phoenix.
Thank you, Plague Von Karma, and now I'm going to show some more King K. Rool tech. Okay guys, now it's time to talk about another tech with King K. Rool called Crown Sliding. This tech was found by Chaos Blasta, and I was a person who actually covered this tech on the channel, so if you guys want to check out that video...
Never check out that video. That crown sliding video is awful. It's very, 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 very outdated. There's a video of Von Karma Smash that's good though.
I'll put an iCard to that, and a link to that will also be in the description. For all of you who don't know what crown sliding is when you...
By the way, half of these, every single crown sliding thing he's done so far is suboptimal. The optimal thing to do is to grab them, because that's pretty much all it all it gives you. That other options don't. Like for example, you can crown slide, you can like get to forward throw dash attack, or you can do like up throw to get a landing situation. Or, thanks to the new back throw buff, you can crowd slide and back throw somebody to immediately get them off the stage and send them at the hell angle.
Throw your crown as King K. Rool and you run towards the crown, and then you perform what's called a dash dance in Super Smash Bros.
It's not a dash dance, it's just a simple initial dash in the opposite direction. Oh boy.
And for some apparent reason, this tech allows King K. Rool to slide across the ground, giving him amazing momentum and also combo potential. On screen right now is showing some gameplay of when I was originally recording the crown sliding video, and the weird thing about this tech is that when you throw the crown, sometimes you'll get the second hitbox on characters that are shorter and sometimes you won't, but the second hitbox can be important for performing a crown slide because it allows you the momentum to get the backward swing and teleport behind an opponent, but it's not necessarily something you always need to get to use the crown slide. Some of my favorite combos with crown slide include crown slide into down smash.
That's not a combo. Korra wasn't landing like that, but I think she could have shielded.
Crown slide into up tilt, and then crown slide into
Up tilt's suboptimal entirely because you could just jab here and deal more damage, and also get better attack situation. Up tilt's alright, but doesn't really do much that jab doesn't, and also after jab you could just crowd again, and then you could probably even try and get another crown slide if you really want to. But in that situation, you probably want to just up tilt them into it, or do a forward to set them off stage.
To down tilt, as crown slide into down tilt is very good against characters that are shorter because it's almost guaranteed to land.
It's nowhere near guaranteed. In fact, it never works at all. Down tilt's a nice mix-up, but I think it only really works for Fox players because when they land, they're just there forever. I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
Another thing that you have to remember when using crown sliding is that crown sliding also works at mid%. I've also used this.
It does work a mid%, yes, and also you can get up tilt as a reliable combo, but at the same time you can also do basically anything else.
Tech on characters at 30%, 40%, and even 50%. Characters that are heavy.
Okay, at 50% that's actually crowd sliding is good at 50% because your up tilt is what still works at that point, I believe, if they DI it anyway. But you could also up air. You could probably up to actually. You could up tilt to set up for an up air, maybe get more damage out of that. I don't know. I haven't really thought about crowd sliding in a while because I don't do it that much these days, but it is still a nice technique, especially if you want to pursue somebody, to get to the ledge.
For some apparent reason, fall into the second crown a little bit easier, so crown sliding is a little bit easier to perform with these characters. Another weird interaction with crown sliding is against Pikachu. For some apparent reason, Pikachu, when you throw the crown, sometimes the second hit won't hit him. I guess it's because of his hurt boxes or something like that.
No, it's not at all. It's just that Pikachu is very small, and many characters are small, hitting them with 2 hits a crowd is very hard. Crowd multi-hit is one of the most inconsistent things in this game, which is why crowd slide combos aren't often seen, because most of the time when you hit someone with crowd, they're only being hit by the first hit. The reverse hit doesn't hit as often as it looks. And the multi-hit, it literally only looks like Ridley, Bowser, K. Rool, because they're so big and even if they DI, they can't escape it. The spacing to hit double crowd is very, very tight. And you have to watch your opponent to do that, as well as recognize the crowd threat range. And also, we are almost at the point, at the length of the video itself for my critique. Oh dear.
But it's a really weird interaction, and it's something you want to keep in mind with the Pikachu matchup.
Also, for those wondering why K. Rool didn't slide through, that's because jostle mechanics. Jostle mechanics are directly disabled when they're in hit stun.
In which most people don't even play K. Rool in a Pikachu matchup because they'll just get comboed.
So, I mean, it's not combo that's the problem. It's the fact that he just T-jolt you when you're recovering. And it's actually a very good stalling technique because all K. Rool can do is try and come back. He gets hit by T-jolts. Pikachu is a timeout matchup, not a combo matchup. The real worry of Pikachu is when he starts stalling K. Rool. When you fight a campy Pikachu, you'll understand what I mean. Aggressive Pikachus are a godsend because they often just die because crowd armor is funny. But if you fight one of the stalls, that's when the matchups are -3.
But it's something you want to keep in the back pocket. Last thing worth mentioning about crown sliding is that crown sliding does work on platforms, but it's not something you want to really use on platforms because the platforms limit your sliding range when using the tech. Okay, so the last tech I want to talk about.
Okay, so this is really early crowd bouncing, and he never explains the input here. Basically, just active crowd is inputting the B button for you, and you B reverse it. That's all it is. It's just a B reversed crowd. well, a B reversed crowd pickup, which is very hard to explain, but like essentially when you get the crowd, it forces a B input, which is why you can B reverse it. You can also B reverse it twice for some reason.
About in regards to crown is crown bouncing. Crown bouncing is a tech that was created by DK Davy. I have the
I'm just gonna say like so well.
Is crown bouncing. Crown bouncing
I
is a
was
tech
just
that was
That whole thing he does there, nobody does that, but it's so good. Nobody ever B reverses the item pickup version, but it's so good. Like that offstage setup, like it's such a nice movement. Oh, it irritates the crap out of me when I see people not doing it, because like it just like you could, like if you do actually want to, if you must collect your crown in the advantage state, B reverse the item pickup from the platform, and then you can immediately just get back into the game and keep your momentum. And also, it crown lands. You can also you can get a no impact landing. Such a nice little mechanic.
created by DK Davy. I have the privilege to use his footage in this video, and I also covered how to crown bounce and the applications of crown bouncing in a video that I had already posted.
So what I just did there was a crown jump reverse crown bounce. Because if you jump and get crown, you'll have a bit of air drag, and then when he did that weird thing where he like spazzed out of it for a second there, he was doing the 2B reverse thing that I was talking about, which it's kind of like C bouncing it almost, but it's not quite. It's very hard to explain.
On this channel, so if you want to check out that video, I'll put an iCard to that. It will be in the top right hand corner, so make sure you check out that video and then come back to watching the rest of the guide. Okay, so I'll give a quick explanation.
That forward doesn't come out, by the way. I don't know why I chose that. The forward doesn't come out, and they hurt them. Actually, can we have the start spot forward hair reduced, please? No, don't actually do that. That would be stupid.
As to how crown bouncing works. Crown bouncing is very similar to that of crown sliding. It's just you perform the crown slide in the air. This is the most notably used tech when the crown is on the platform, because what you want to do is with crown bouncing, it allows you to turn basically in mid-air. And this has many uses to it, because if you're facing the wrong direction, you can crown bounce to face the opposite direction to use an attack on an opponent, to maybe avoid an attack, or use like a directional air dodge after a crown bounce. There's all sorts of applications you can use for crown bouncing, like for instance if your opponent is below you, you can crown bounce this into a down air, maybe even a back air. There's so many different applications for crown bouncing, it would take me forever to explain this, and that's why I highly suggest you check out the video that I had already previously posted, and which will be in the iCard. But crown bouncing, it's a tech that is extremely useful. It's best used.
Another thing that DK David does there, he like instantly reverses on the ledge. Nobody does that either, and it's extremely good as well. Like these are two like early meta tactics that we just lost over the years. Those two things that he does, oh great. Although half of what Dark Souls was saying is actually here is actually quite correct. This is a very complex technique with a lot of different variations. Based on like how if your double jump momentum's in there, if your normal jump momentum is in there, if you've B reversed it, if you C bounced it, there are so many different variations of crown bouncing. And also you can even introduce it, like you can also fast fall as well, which we found out last year, to make yourself fall like a brick, because like crowd's airspeed modifier makes it even better. There are so many ways to use this technique, and there is no good video guide for it. I want to fix that sometime. I wish I could, but right now I'm bogged down with other obligations. I can't do it. But this is such a complex technique. I don't know why I put it in a guide that I remember him telling me it was for beginners a long time ago. I don't know why I put it in this video. Don't know why.
Use on stages such that have platforms on them, like for instance Battlefield, Dreamland, maybe even Town and City with a platform. Or
oh yeah, Dreamland was legal back then. Oh wow, we came really far. This stage is awful.
That's not really played that much anymore, though, regular Town and City. But anyways,
Town and City is played a lot.
Stages with platforms, that's when crown bouncing has its most use, because sometimes when you throw your crown, it gets stuck on a platform or it lands on the ground. That's where you have your chance to perform a crown bounce.
Crown bouncing from the ground is very perfect. I don't know why you would suggest this to beginners. And nobody does it. No rational human being does it. Most turnaround crown bounces you do from a grounded item pickup, they're actually just turnaround jumps.
And crown bouncing can be also performed off stage, which gives it a lot of usage.
Even I have trouble doing that shot off stage. I don't know how DK Davies doing that. Like, I try a crowd battle stage and I just fuck it up every time. It's so precise.
So anyways, make sure you check out DK Davies' channel. A link to that will be in the description. It will also be in the end card at the end of this video, so that way you can show him some support as he's just starting his Super Smash Bros. Channel, and I think you will be interested in some of the content he has to show.
Where's the iCard? Where's the iCard? Hey, hold on. Where is it? Where'd you put it? Aww.
Then we have King K. Rool's down special, which is Gut Check. Not only is King K. Rool's down special a counterattack, it can also reflect projectiles, which is an amazing use for it because if you can reflect projectiles, it can also help against characters who like to camp against King K. Rool, like for instance your Mega Man, Samus's, maybe even your Wolf. King K. Rool's down special can deal 14.4% damage at least from really low damage attacks, and can deal up to 50.4% damage when hit by extremely strong attacks.
Just say 1.5 times damage, it's way easier for people to understand.
It's also worth noting that any attacks that hit King K. Rool must hit his belly in order for the counter to go through. If it doesn't hit his belly, it will count as regular damage on King K. Rool and he will still take hit stun. King K. Rool's counter also does not protect behind him. The last of special moves with King K. Rool is King K.
He doesn't mention that the intangibility makes it easier for moves to hit the belly. So at the start of Gut Check, from frames 5 to 14, you have intangibility, or full body intangibility. This is why you can gut check sword moves so easily, because otherwise they'll just hit his head. Which people often say in like text channels, but when you actually play the game, and you're not being a pseudo-intellectual and a little backseat expert, you actually know that oftentimes you can gut check sword aerials. And it's actually quite easy, because if you're not stupid with it, they will go through the intangibility and then hit the counter. Now yes, there are frames where you don't have the intangibility, but you still have the counter. But that's just bonus. Like if you, like most of that stuff is from after you've already reacted.
K. Rool's up special. King K. Rool's up special is probably one of the best when it comes to traveling at a vertical distance, but horizontally it's not the best as it has limited motion and is relatively slow.
It goes further than most recoveries still, even going forward. It's just that you lose a bit of distance because you are going diagonally now. Like when you go diagonally, you're not covering that. Like you're spending some of that vertical distance on going left or right. So obviously you'll go less high. I'm not sure what that's supposed to say there. It's fine. Like in terms of distance, it's one of the best recoveries in the game distance-wise. You can literally recover from the magnifying glass. You can even recover from the so-called dead zone that many people mention.
Changing direction with King K. Rool's up special is not something you really want to do because it slows down the recovery and it also limits your time you can use the up special. So
the real reason you do that is so you can avoid being edge guarded. So I think the issue with Propel Pack is that when you're recovering like diagonally, your belly's often vulnerable. So characters can jump down and then hit you from the front and then recover. However, if you use up aerial and then like move towards the stage, you could often set yourself up to hug it, because you gain horizontal drift with it, and then you could up B while hugging the stage, leave your belly not vulnerable, and you could go to the ledge very easily. Additionally, if you hold down until the last second, you could also use LSI to protect yourself from stage spikes. Which means that now you can tech Lucina's back air to well over 100%, around 150 I believe. So most back airs will fail to stage spike you while doing that, and oftentimes the person will lose stage control for that, allowing you to recover with impunity. It's very hard to punish K. Rool's recovery without spiking him, and even spiking him is very difficult. Now, obviously you're not going to be a tech god. You're not going to like tech everything, and eventually untakeables will happen. But untakeables will happen until very unreasonable percentages, which is my point. And at those percentages, you should be dying. You should be getting edge guarded. But he is a difficult character to edge guard if you know how to do it. Obviously, you can punish his up airs and stuff, but like, it's not as easy to do as it looks. And also, Crown is really funny off stage as well, so you can often just guard against it anyway. His character's recovery is surprisingly varied, but it's all in the name of getting to hug that stage. Come to Papa. That's what you should be saying.
So it's not something that's recommended. With up special, King K. Rool also has a propeller hitbox on the top of it. The propeller hitbox in King K. Rool's up B is not as useful as it used to be, as in patch 2.0 this attack has recently been nerfed.
It was not really nerfed, so to speak. Like, it was just horizontal. It's just horizontally nerfed, which is fine. The hitbox is stupid.
Propeller hitbox can come in handy in many different situations.
Actually, another thing I should point out here, that up B hitbox, how do I put this? They just made it accurate to what the propeller looks like. So, like, they just made it realistic, which is good. Like, people complain about unrealistic hitboxes on Shotos, or Terry and Kazuya as well. They complain about their hitboxes being absurdly large, but then when K. Rool's propeller pack got made realistic, people complained for weeks. Well, not even weeks, for years. People still complain about it to this day. I don't know why. That was stupid. I don't know why people like that. Especially because you could, like, do propeller pack up air and kill someone like 80. I don't know why they didn't think about that.
As it can hit opponents who are trying to contest your recovery, and it can help you get back to the stage, as the propeller hitbox, once you touch the stage, can go through the stage if a character is near the ledge. Be careful when using King K. Rool's up special, as King K. Rool can still get hit through the propeller. Like against most sword characters, they have down airs that are really long.
The so-called most sword aerials isn't quite correct. Characters like Chrom have to space it absurdly well, and most players don't really know the matchup that well, so it's very rare you actually see, like, for example, Roy or Chrom's down airs actually spike you. Marth's is probably like the only one that I can think of that really spikes remotely consistently, and even that one's quite difficult. I mean, people, like, really insist on trying to spike him, and every time they just lose stage control, and then, like, K. Rool grabs ledge, and he can just ledge jump up there. It's so risky to edge guard this character, and I feel like it's better to just ledge trap him. Like, it's so much easier to ledge trap this character than it is to edge guard him. Like, when you edge guard him, there's just so many variables, all for the sake of just, like, inconveniencing him a bit. Like, Like, once he hogs that stage, just like edge guarding was just no point.
And that hitbox can go through the propeller and still land on King K. Rool. King K. Rool's up special deals about 3.6% damage per hit, with 76 rising frames, and a total of 87 frames for the entire animation.
It's around 107.
It is only proper to start off this section talking about King K. Rool's neutral air. King K. Rool's neutral air is easily one of the best in the game because of his gut armor ability. Using neutral air while landing is highly suggested, as you'll go uncontested in most situations because opponents will not be able to break through your super armor. King K. Rool's neutral air starts up on frame 7, belly armor frames start from 6 to 30, and the entire move itself lasts for 45 frames. King K. Rool's forward air is an extremely good move, as this move when used on opponents can push them back, and it's really good in neutral. In neutral game, you can use this to push your opponent away from you and to gain stage control.
You use it as a combo, what you want about? When you hit forward air, it's time to party, you got a free grab. It's great.
It's also a pretty good combo starter, and coupled with Crown, this can lead to some interesting setups. King K. Rool's forward air looks very similar to Diddy Kong's forward air, but it is indeed different, as this move starts up on frame 11.
That Diddy Kong take aged like fine wine, because they made it even more disjointed, just like Smash 4 Diddy's.
In which Diddy Kong's forward air is a little bit faster than that, and King K. Rool's forward air, when used in the air, is not the best option if you're not landing, because it has a tremendous amount of end lag and can cost you a stock if you're trying to recover from an extremely deep distance. Now, King K. Rool's down air is a really good move because it's not only a good all-stage option, it's also a good low to mid percent option, because at low to mid percents, if you're playing with someone who can't really mash, you can down throw them into a down air, and that can lead into some interesting setups with King K. Rool, because you have up air you can use out of that, maybe even in the up smash. You
know, this actually aged like fine wine.
K. Rool's down air starts up on frame 14, belly armor frames start from frame 14 to 25, and the entire move lasts for 61 frames. Now, if you really want to go for style points, there's King K. Rool's back air. His back air is one of the most hype spikes in the game because it deals immediate 19% damage.
Nobody's hyping up back air for 19%. Also, he's not using stale moves to actually get the full proper damage numbers. But nobody's hyping this up for that. They're hyping it up because the sound is orgasmic.
damage, and it's pretty good with short hop because you can use it for spacing against your opponent, and it just sends a really nasty dunk, and most people can't recover when spiked from this move. One of the greatest utilities of back air is that if you get launched away from the ledge and you're not facing towards the ledge, you can use back air if someone's trying to contest you while recovering, because you have an amazing up B that you can recover from really deep distances. You can use back air to protect yourself and spike your opponent who's trying to contest you.
Again, this is
King K.
actually
Rool's
a
back
fun
air
point.
starts up on frame 18 and lasts for a total of 57 frames. This move will last for an extremely long time with 57 frames, so every
Huh? It doesn't last for 57 frames? That's the FAF. It lasts for like 4, I think, if it's either 3 or 4.
once in a while, when that one person comes up trying to contest you, hit him with a back air. Finally, the last aerial with King K. Rool is his up air. It's probably his worst aerial, as King
no! This is why people have these shit opinions, dude. Oh no! Don't say that. No. Even back then, up air wasn't that hated. People were hating on back throw more.
K. Rool's up air has a tremendous amount of end lag where he does this little laughing in.
My end lag! My end lag! My end lag! Oh no! My end lag! The end lag that I never see because I'm landing on platforms with it! Oh no! Oh no! I forget that the landing lag is practically nothing! Oh no!
Animation in which you can't attack during this animation, which kind of sucks, and that's why most people don't use it. And
Man, this is awful. You know, it was going so well. He was talking good things about the aerials. I mean, not going into the detail that we have these days, but like, oh man,
it makes you extremely vulnerable. So it's
no, when you start off stage, it doesn't, mate. So Raffi did an amazing video on up air, and I've got a link in an iCard here because I strongly believe that like everyone should watch it. And also, Dwagthing did 2 really good guys on it as well. Those are some incredible videos on how to use up air. I strongly recommend anyone to like look at them. I've said that before, but I'll just repeat it for emphasis. It's so important.
not the best of aerials. It does have some kill power to it, and when you use the up air, it actually gives you a little bit of a jump boost, which is kind of awkward. There's not really any tech you can pull off with this besides like using it to get above a platform or something like that.
Oh man, so the utility of the upward boost is to give you horizontal drift when recovering. You never need to double jump when recovering with K. Rool because up air will do it for you. Additionally, it also is one of your fastest ways to get off the ledge in the game. You could ledge release, then up air, immediately go onto the stage, fast fall a little bit, because it is a little bit of fast fall to save like a frame or two. And you get on there, off the ledge, faster than most of them. And also, it's very well protected thanks to the belly armor, so if your opponent's like trying to like ledge trap you, you can up air, guard against it, and then just kill them. Also, you can steal platforms using up air. As it says, you can move between platforms, but he forgets about the hitbox. Now, up air was reworked in 6.0, I believe it was, which gave it like a way more active frames, and also made it like just generally a really absurd move. So this, like back then, it was pretty mediocre, but it was still quite, it was still quite powerful. But definitely like not a very great move back then. But now the risk reward is so skewed that people literally just crackhead full hop double jump up air to kill somebody off the top. And people just do it. Like, they don't care about the risks because, well, if you hit, well, they're still trying to land, so, And it's very well protected these days because you have really long head intangibility, really long belly armor frames, and you fall like a brick, so most of the time you're not getting punished for using it because you fall like a brick. Oftentimes you'll be out of someone's threat zone before they can even remotely contest you. And also you can drift away from them as well to make it even safer on shield if you hit them on platform. It's so good. There's so much stuff you can do with this move, and it's just so nice, so fun.
It deals 14.2% damage, which is pretty decent.
These days is 18%, by the way. It's almost 20. It's a crazy move.
And it doesn't have any damage variations for when he doesn't have his crown on. It's still the same consistent damage. King K.
Oh yeah, the old crown rumor. That was fun. That was a fun time. Yeah, the crown doesn't boost the damage of up smash and up air, by the way.
K. Rool's up air has a startup of 7 frames, head intangibility frames of 7 to 13.
That's inaccurate. It's way longer now. I think it's like to 20 now. It's crazy.
Belly armor frames start from frame 6 to 20, and the entire move is a total of 81 frames. Okay, starting off the normals, we have King K. Rool's jab. King K. Rool has a jab combo of 3 hits, and it deals a total of 14 damage. In most situations when you use King K. Rool's jab, you want to follow it all the way through. You don't just want to use 1 hit or 2 hits because it doesn't really have much value, as you wouldn't be going for complete damage there. So you just want to go for all.
You don't follow through a jab on shield, and also you can use jab one to grab if you want. Jab one to grab isn't true. It's just people have to shield afterwards, so you can maybe fake them out once or twice a game. But on shield, you want to like space it on shield. Then you can like delay the second hit, maybe even delay the third. Oftentimes, someone will try and do an out shield option because they're a Vietnam veteran. You know, that kind of thing.
All 3 hits, except for when you're trying to go for down throw combos, because you can do jab 1 into down throw. It's not the most.
Oh. Sorry, I said anything there, mate.
most reliable of combos, but it's something. Most people also use jab 1 against people who are very unresponsive or have late response time or are bad at mashing, so they'll do jab 1 into down throw. It's not the best of things, so whenever you use jab with King K. Rool, I suggest for you to follow it up all the way.
I think he neglects to mention is that our jab combo is the highest in the game. It's tied with Terry, because he has something with that jab 3, doesn't he?
Citrus using just jab 1. King K. Rool's jab is also an extremely good spacing tool, so make sure you use this against really aggressive opponents, as you can keep them away and keep them at bay with King K. Rool's jab.
You know what? That's actually a solid review. Like, space jab is incredible. Like, that's actually like, wow. That is like 5-1. One thing it doesn't mention is that you can jab to stop projectiles. You can just stop like Mega Man lemons. It's really funny.
Now, if you want to talk about a quick kill option that's also great for spacing, you have King K. Rool's side tilt. King K. Rool's side tilt comes out extremely fast. Combo with down throw, this can also kill at higher percents.
These days, forward tilt is outclassed by dash attack out of berry, because dash attack kills about the same thanks to the patches.
And his side tilt can be angled in the upwards or downwards direction. This move, combo with pivots, can create some nasty setups because you can run away from your opponent and then turn around and hit him with a good old slap. King K. Rool's side tilt is an essential part to his neutral. It starts up on frame 12.
In neutral, you use it as a whiff punish. That's why you use it. Just try to be more specific there.
And it lasts for a total of 42 frames. So this move comes out relatively fast. It's a kill option and can kill most characters around 100% to 110% for your heavier weight characters. Then we have the second but also last berry move that King K. Rool has, which is his down tilt. His down tilt berry is much longer than his down throw, so if you land this, you probably want to follow it up with a forward smash or down smash, because those are...
No. You're following up with a down air to combo. Like K. Rool's down air is one of his best combo tools because it lets you get a free grab and it deals with such damage. Which is why you also see people like instead of using down smash, some people like show up down air because of backflip, leaving you about the same away from the grab and everything. So you just punch them with down air, get your free combo. It's so broken. You can also store spike, your grounded spikes in there. It's so good.
King K. Rool's best smash attacks. His down tilt also has a pretty decent amount of range, because if you don't land the sweet spot on the down tilt, which is closer to King K. Rool's heel of his foot, then you'll hit the person when they're away from you, in which it'll launch them into the air, which I don't think it has any combo potential from what I've seen so far and combos I've been able to lab.
Yeah, there's no true combos out of it, but most of the time the opponents put into a really weird situation where they basically have to act. Because if they don't act, they get hit by either up air, neutral air, or forward air. So they have to do something, and every something they do is very punishable. Most of the time, people will either air dodge or land with an aerial. Like if it's a sword player, just assume they land with neutral air. They always do. You just dash attack the cunt, or you just down tilt again. Like you can do that. It's so fun. It's one of the most awkward moves in the game. It also has really good range, more range to forward tilt with the Quake hitbox. It's by a few pixels. So if you're spacing against the opponent, you can just down tilt, and they just have to deal with it. And it's safe on block from that far away as well, which I think is really cool.
But down tilt does vary longer, so you probably want to follow it up with a smash attack. The best applications for down tilt would be for hard reads or for edge guarding. Those are really the best applications, as this move is kind of hard to land because it's relatively slow. This
Yeah, that's about right. It's a bit slow, but not like too slow. You can hit because obviously it hits them from another setup, so it justifies the lag. It's just like forward tilt. Like forward tilt's frame 12, but obviously it's the armor, so it's effectively frame 6 if the opponent hits you. That's a kind of old theory thing. But when it comes to a down tilt, like the lag is fine. It's just that it doesn't have armor, so people don't know what to do with it. Like frame 14 is like good. Also has a frame 13 aerial hitbox, so you can use that as a weird anti-air as well. It's great. Also, the hitbox shift lets you avoid like Greninja's dash attack, and it's just the most amazing thing you'll ever see in the game.
This move has some interesting remarks to it, as the move starts up on frame 13, and it also deals more damage on aerial opponents. So if your opponent's in the air and they get hit by a down tilt, there's a certain frame hitbox where they'll get hit by the down tilt and it'll deal a little bit more damage. So that's something that's really interesting to note, and this move is a total of 42 frames, and the Bury plus Quake frames is 14. So those are some interesting remarks to keep in mind when you're using down tilt with King K. Rool. King K. Rool's up tilt is one of his go-to attacks. This attack is extremely powerful because it has some really good launching distance to it. It's also a good juggle tool for people who are above you on platforms, and combo with down throw, this can kill at relatively early percents near the ledge.
You know what? I don't know why people say up tilt's bad these days, but like this take here is probably one of the best takes I've ever heard on it. And it's because he's based on my guy, because I've always been an up tilt advocate. I think up tilt's one of his better moves because of these qualities. Except for the launch power, I think it's a bit weaker than what's stated. I mean, it kills at 130, which is great, really, if you think about it. As a combo ender, it's poor, but as a kill move and anti-air tool, it's great. It's fine, really. So I don't know why people say it's outclassed or stuff like that. Like, it's just not. It's just that you have broken grounded options. So of course, like one of the least broken ones, it just looks okay. Like, God, like you have a dose of normality on this character.
King K. Rool's up tilt doesn't have any combo potential to it, but it is extremely good.
It does have combo potential, actually. Knock him into the crown. That's where it comes from. Knock them into the ground, they get knocked back, and you can up-air them. Free stock. Great thing.
Tool because you can hit people really fast out of down throw, and King K. Rool's down throw is his go-to throw. King K. Rool's up tilt starts up on frame 5, has arm intangibility frames from frames 4 through 9, and the entire move lasts for 37 frames. Next up is King K. Rool's dash attack. King K. Rool's
He missed one thing about up tilt. The intangibility just lasts through the entire duration of his uppercutting. So, while it is a good anti-air, it will lose to some moves if it's too late.
Dash attack is one of the most interesting dash attacks in the game. This move starts up on frame 7 and lasts for a total of 60 frames. It's a relatively fast dash attack for a heavyweight character. It can kill, and it deals a decent amount of damage. So this is a move you definitely want to use with King K. Rool, especially if the opponent is a little bit too far for you to reach. If you hit him with that dash attack, especially near the ledge and around, I would say 100%, maybe 105 on lighter weight characters or midweight characters, this move will most definitely kill. Another plus of this move is that this move also has King K. Rool's gut armor, so you definitely want to use this move a lot because you're going to be pretty much protected throughout the entire duration of using this move because of gut armor.
Don't use it as much as he says. Dash attacking is very good. It's definitely one of the best approach options in the game. It's basically just budget Wonder Wing. Like, Wonder Wing was basically just like taking K. Rool's dash attack and turning up to 11. However, just like Wonder Wing, if you miss it, you're going to die. Like, yeah, you can like dash attack through fucking charge shot, but my god, is it like if you whiff it, you're being punished for days because while you have 23 frames of absolute impregnability, you also have like 30 frames of lag afterwards. You can charge a forward smash if it whips, and it just kills you.
Starting off King K. Rool's throws, we have King K. Rool's down throw. This is the best throw with King K. Rool because it has
Lol.
so much combo potential. Most people don't use this throw at lower percents because people who can mash really well will break out of it at lower percents. So once you get your opponent to around 30% and
30? This is post quote unquote nerf. You start using it like 40-ish maybe, but like even then, like that's more up-air mix-ups and stuff. At around 60 you can start like down throw jab attempting if they're not that great. 80 if they're good, they should start working. Well, not all the time, it really depends. Like some people mash like fucking Mario Party players in this game, dude. It's crazy. Like if you find like a Yoshi or Roy player, just don't bother until like 130.
above, that's when you want to start going for down throw because it'll be harder for them to mash out of it.
Also, note that if they mash out, there are 12 frames of pop-out lag. So every time, so when he mentions that they mash out, those are all upper opportunities. Or forward at Cinema stage. People don't do that enough. It's really good.
Some general tips to know about King K. Rool is that his grab frame startup is on frame 8. His grab lasts for a total of 40 frames, but when King K. Rool is going for a dash grab, the frame startup is on frame 11, and his dash grab total frames is frame 48. King K. Rool's grab reach is also not very long, so you want to take these in consideration when playing King K. Rool, especially if you're going for grabs because down throw is an essential part to his kit. King K. Rool's up throw is an interesting throw because it deals a lot of damage, but it's not the go-to throw you want to go for when you're at higher percents. Sometimes it can kill on platforms in which if you're playing on a platform stage and you grab someone in the middle and they're at like around 140, 150, you probably actually should go for up throw if you're playing against someone who's a really good masher, but down throw is preferred against most people, and it really depends upon how good the person you're playing against is at mashing.
Can we talk about how short the down throw article was actually? Like, down throw is like so much depth to that move. You could make a video as long as that one on down throw itself. I just want to mention, like, that move has so much stuff to it. As for the up throw stuff, yeah, about right. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned in the middle because people keep trying to kill with it on side platforms and they just fail because the move sucks. Well, it doesn't suck. No, like, it's such a good damage builder.
King K. Rool's up throw has a frame startup on frame 67 and lasts for a total of 103 frames. This is King K. Rool's most damaging throw. Keep that in mind.
It's the most damaging throw in the game. Like, it's only been beaten out by Gates of Hell from Kazuya, which is a command throw. So if we don't consider command throws, this is the most damaging throw in the game.
Also, some common follow-ups with up throw include up throw into up tilt. Even at lower percents, up
throw up tilt has never been true. What it is it catches the opponent if they're even a frame off jumping out of hit stun. It also catches a air dodge startup. That's why you use it. And also, even if they do happen to like have a really fast air dodge to go through it, you can grab them out afterwards anyway, because the air dodge lag you like.
Throwing up tilt can be good, especially against fast fallers or against heavyweights, but it's not the most recommended of combos, and this is not really a good combo throw. And this throw is really only good for getting in that good chunk of damage. King K. Rool's back throw has a frame start from frame 32.
You didn't mention pummels because like K. Rool's pass the most damaging pummel in the game as well. It deals 2% time and it's very quick. So overall damage per tick is the fastest around. He doesn't mention that, which is very important because it also unsteals your attacks for down throw. So if you do like pummel 3 times, down throw, then jab, you unsteal practically your entire moveset, which is just excellent.
And it has a total of 62 frames that it lasts. So this move is, it's really interesting because this move can be used to kill, especially if you're a person
well, it didn't kill back then, but it kills now.
who likes to stale a lot of your killing moves like up tilt and forward tilt, or maybe even forward smash or down smash, then this is a go-to move to use at the ledge. At FD, this can kill people at around 130%, or even probably for other stages as well.
130? That's lowballing it for pre-batch. That's really lowballing it pre-batch. Wow. I don't think he ever saw someone DI at that point, because like if you DI'd up and in, you lasted until like 160. It was a really sad throw.
This move, similar to forward throw, is extremely good for forcing neutral, so you want to use this move to force neutral against your opponent. This move...
You don't want to force neutrals, K-Rool, you want to kill them. Like, if you grab them, you're in advantage, so get them off stage. Like, if you need to force neutrals there, like, there's a problem. Especially because like you can do like down throw to whatever you want, really. Well, not whatever you want, but like you know, to mix ups and stuff.
Also deals 13.2% damage, so you want to use this move a little bit more than forward throw because it deals a little bit more damage if you're...
No. Even pre-patch this was wrong. You'd always use forward throw because it sets up the crowd. Back throw was much worse at setting up a crowd, and the best thing it could do is force a texture on a platform that you couldn't profit from.
Person that likes to go for that extra little chunk, then you should probably prioritize back throw over forward throw. King K. Rool's forward throw is something else. This move is extremely good at keeping your opponent away from you. It's a really good get off me type attack. This move at 0% can combo with dash attack, and this move is really good at forcing neutral. So if you have a person who's really aggressive on you, just use a forward throw, force that neutral game, and then go into your crown and cannonball.
Oh man, crown and cannonball. Oh, I hate that. I hate that so much. Okay, if you must use both projectiles, which you shouldn't most of the time, I mean you can, but I don't suggest it because of how Camilla is. You're spending like 2 seconds to set this stuff up. Start with cannonball because crowd has so much follow-up potential if it works, and you need to be prepared for when it does. I've seen so many K. Rool players forfeit their advantage state because they were so stupid to cannonball after crowd. Because now because the thing is, okay, so let me just put this into a frame data perspective because like, it's hard to visualize it at first. Crowd will move forwards for around 40 frames after it started up. So this will be 1 second until factory startup. Then on frame 65, it will start coming back. How long is cannonball? 60. It's 60 frames. So you have next to no time at all to react to the reverse crowd hitting. This is why I despise anybody who does crowd to cannonball, because it's such a suboptimal option. What you should be doing is moving around, trying to force the opponent to get hit by the crowd. Practically, K. Rool's entire moveset is based around hitting people into the crowd. It's very hard to do, but it's something that's not really optimized because nobody does it. They're so focused on using the cannonball. I don't know why. It's such a bad habit. It looks awful. It's why people have this stupid stereotype. So like for example, like forward air hits people into crowd, and it's also -5 on shield. So the opponent can't do anything about that. If they try to punish your forward air, they're gonna get hit by the crowd because of the amount of light that goes into that. If they're hit by the forward air, they're hit by the crowd as well. Obviously, it's a very simplified situation, but like the situations like that can happen with neutral air, your up air, your jab even. Like hell, jabbing people to force them to get hit by crowd is really good. You just jab 1, jab 2, delay it, delay the follow up and everything, just to keep them hit stuff for as long as possible. Then they hit by crowd. If they do happen to shield, doesn't matter. You can grab them because they plus on shield, because the crowd's shield stun. Yeah, that's how great this is. Like you're losing all of this by going for cannonball, and it's all because you're too scared to approach the opponent. Because I don't know why you're scared to approach the opponent. You play fucking King K. Rool. You kill them if you touch them. I don't know why you're scared.
King K. Rool's forward throw deals 12% damage, has a frame start up at frame 28 and lasts for a total of 39 frames. Before we move on with the rest of the video, don't forget to go down the description.
Oh man, Big Lightning, I remember that dude. Oh man, we used to fight a lot. Although I respect him a lot though. He's a cool guy, but I just like, I don't know. I just caused a lot of fallouts back then. A lot of regrets.
And join the King K. Rool Discord. If you want to be a King K. Rool main, you might as well.
Which was it? Little additional crowd signs and still looked really cute. That was cool.
Join the community. So if you want to see some more interesting facts about King K. Rool, learn about how King K. Rool matchups work, and learn some interesting combos with King K. Rool, I highly suggest you join the Discord. A link to that will be in the description. With all that being said, it's time to talk about King K. Rool's neutral.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh.
Contrary to popular belief, King K. Rool has a lot more to him than just throwing a crown. King K.
Oh god, that was awful back then.
Rool has probably one of the most complex neutrals in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
No, not really. His neutral is just forward air, neutral and stuff. Like, yeah, there's a lot you can do in neutral, but like most of the time you're like sitting there waiting for the opponent to do something or to do stuff. Like, you know, just normal neutral stuff. His neutral's just unreactable burst, and like obviously, like, you know, there's a lot more to it than throwing a crown, and like crown isn't inherently a neutral tool, nor is cannonball. It depends on the matchup. Like, that's the complexity really. You just adapt based on the character, which is just normal neutral. Neutral itself is complex. K. Rool's isn't.
King K. Rool's forward air and his countering are paramount to his neutral because his forward
God, what the fuck was that? What? That was so bad.
air can be spaced extremely well. It's a move that you can throw out when you're landing with King K. Rool, or you can just
That was alright.
simply short hop forward air. This move is great for spacing, and it can also be used to maintain stage control. Another tool King K. Rool has in neutral is most definitely his side tilt. His side tilt can be used with pivot canceling, so you could just turn around and use side tilt, which gives it a lot of utility. If you turn around and side tilt, especially if you're running away from an opponent, you can gain a lot of stage control, and you can get the right amount of distance to throw your crown. In a nutshell, King K. Rool's neutral is mainly defensive oriented. You want to crown away on those aerial approaches, steal platforms with up air, and use forward tilt on opponents who think they have.
That was so bad. This gameplay is awful. I really sent this in. Holy shit, that's tragic. I'm embarrassed.
A linear approach against you. In neutral as King K. Rool, you also want to remember that fox striding is much better than your dash, and
That's an antiquated take. Fox Striding is extremely commendable because you're in lag like half the time. It is faster though to approach somebody with. So if you need to close distance, just keep foxtrotting. Like you will get closer much quicker. But otherwise, you shouldn't be doing that. You should just be doing your normal dash, especially because like, but your normal dash lets you pivot cancel. And also, believe it does let you jump a bit better. Not sure. The jump park feels better though. I will say this game is awful. I didn't break down that wolf at all.
your initial dash with King K. Rool is much better. So you want to use a lot of fox trotting and a lot of dash dancing. Dash dancing is going to be really useful with King K. Rool because he's relatively slow, so you can dash dance around and make sure that you're.
Man, I'm fighting fucking demons! Like, I'm fighting with demons here, what's wrong with me? I've never dash attacked once to get through this blaster shit.
Opponent is not going for anything sneaky on you, and that way you can pretty much just sit in the neutral, wait for them to approach you, throw your crown, use your forward tilt, and keep them away. Some people who do not play King K. Rool also like to see him as a bait and punish type character, when in most situations King K. Rool is actually.
That's one of the earliest times we ever see someone like use Nair to like armor something and punish it. It's good. Also, this is about like we're talking about like how his bait and switch. Now, here's the thing: like bait and punish is one of the most buzzwordy things in Smash. Which and even back then I felt it was that way. I still feel it to this day because I think most people saying bait and punish don't actually know what it is, because it's a fundamental that characters can harness to different degrees, not a playstyle. Smash as a whole is bait and punish. Like whenever someone if you talk to a mid-level player and ask them to describe a character, every time they'll say bait and punish. If it's not bait and punish, it's Zona. They don't know any other character archetype. K. Rool is a tank and a bait and switch type character because he has so many different ways to like just approach the game. There's so many different playstyles with him. You can look at Zoo, you can look at Huto, you can look at Katoru, you can look at Dera. You can look at Kirby Kid, Ben Goldman in his heyday. You can look at Legacy, Maxu, Tropical, so many more. Shivori, even old heads like Somo and Dekos. They all had very distinct playstyles and preferences with the character, just like any other character in this game. But K. Rool specifically is quite flexible in this respect, and this is why you can just like switch your playstyle however you want during a game. And like you can turn on the aggression, you can be a zoner, you can count, you can do whatever you want. Well, like because K. Rool could zone, you can zone quite. Although it's not effective, but you can do it. Just don't do it for sustained periods of time. That's what it means really. And this is why I consider it to be more of a bait and switch type character, because you can have multiple different playstyles, and you can adhere to almost all of them. Like I mean, Tropical's been successful with a rush style playstyle. Dara has as well. You have Katoru, who definitely takes the bait and punish up to 11. You have Huto, whose hardest reads of his life, but he gets them every time. You like Kirby Kid. What is more of like a balance kind of type play style, like just style. Ben Gold, he was very fundamental centric. Same with Inferno Kong. Like all these different things you can do. It's such a fun character. And this is why I always consider him to be a not bait and punish, not Zona, more of a tank centric character that can switch his play style according to the situation. More of a balanced tank, sort of.
A bait and switch type character. King K. Rool's playstyle, he will bait you into something that you don't like, and then he can also turn it on and become super aggressive. King K. Rool deals a lot of his damage in close range combat as well, especially with the utility of neutral air, with down smash, up tilt. A lot of those moves are...
I was a fucking masher. God, this is awful to watch. I feel awful. Like this gameplay is so awful. What? People watched this guide, listened to what I said, and then saw this?
relatively close range, but he has moves like side tilt, neutral B, and side B, which can keep people away. So he has a little bit of both, and you want to be able to...
I so readily gave him that stage control! I so readily handed it to him!
switch between these playstyles as a King K. Rool player because you don't want to be predictable and neutral. You also want to remember when playing King K. Rool that Crown Ring is exceptionally good at stopping aerial approaches and is extremely good on platforms. So you want to throw Crown Ring especially on like platforms like Battlefield or really small platforms, or on stages like Battlefield you can really just throw your crown, and if you're near like the left platform or right platform, it will reach towards the middle of the second platform. So you really want to use this to cover platforms and even cover text chase situations.
Yes, absolutely. Like a tech situation thing, he didn't give that thing enough credit. Crowd or Cannonball, not both, can cover basically every tech situation option. I prefer Cannonballs because the low knockback can kind of like it can kind of force you out to like tech again and stuff like that. It's quite good. And also like Legacy, some of the VODs I recently uploaded. You can see him doing it quite a bit. He's so good these days. My God, how much has he improved?
Another aspect of King K. Rool that most people don't really realize with King K. Rool is the fact that he is a character that has a lot of gimmicks to him. So sometimes you want to play this character with kind of a mindset to gimmick your opponent, taunt your opponent, put your opponent in that bad situation that they don't like, and make fun of them. That's part of playing King K. Rool. After all, he is the main villain of the Donkey Kong series.
That gameplay was so shit. Oh my God. He should have just downloaded VODs of like gameplay. Like there was no neutral there. Not a single instance in that entire game was neutral. Like people watch that gameplay and think of it as an example. What the fuck?
Okay, now it's time to go on to some of King K. Rool's matchups. King K. Rool is a character who has range, but he also struggles against range at the same time because he has access to his crown, which is really good, but his crown goes through most of the projectiles in the game. But when it comes to dealing the bulk of his damage,
Yeah, BL is really good actually. Holy crap.
King K. Rool has to do most of it in close combat. King K. Rool is one of those characters in Smash Brothers where there's not really a middle ground. Either he's getting beat outright or he's beating his opponent outright.
No. This is a very old take from like back in the day when people were quite bad. Like that kind of take is rooted in skill gap.
He doesn't really have matchups where it's mostly even. It's
Nah. He has tons of even matchups. Tons of them.
either he wins or he loses. And the thing about King K. Rool is that that's where most of his weaknesses come from. Characters such as Mega Man, Wolf, Snake.
Oh wow. Like MVD has said that matchup's even. Like Snake, like MVD has said like even, maybe like plus one-ish. Like it's nowhere near a win. It's not a convincing matchup at all. Wolf is even as fuck. You've got so many PR Wolf wins. Villager, no, that's the scrub one. Like you can tell if someone's a scrub by how they see Villager. Palutena, by no means at all. Like definitely a hard matchup, but like it's not like as you get better at the game, you'll notice the Palutena's not that bad. Mega Man, I've dunked on Mega Man's before, but like I don't know, I never really thought about that one. These aren't bad matchups at all.
Palutena and Villager can give King K. Rool a very, very, very hard time, especially since Palutena and Villager are relatively fast. They have a decent amount of speed to them.
Villager isn't fast. He's slow as shit. His airspeed's like very average. His run speed's kind of slow.
And they have projectiles galore.
Palutena's projectiles galore. What? Explosive Flame is as slow as Crown. It's hardly a projectile. And Ultra Reticle, you can Crown armor these days. Ultra Reticle is just kind of I mean, you can just dash. You can just even back then you could just dash attack through it.
K. Rool's Crown can go through a lot of projectiles in the game, in fact most projectiles in the game, but still he can't deal a lot of his damage if he's only throwing Crown. King K. Rool in these situations will often find himself trying to win neutral, but having very few ways to actually win neutral in these times.
Just go for your burst range. Like if you need to win neutral, you have like the burst range of a god. Like he has many ways to win neutral. It's just that you have to go into the position to do it first. Part of winning neutral is getting stage control and winning neutral, and thus winning neutral by positioning. You force the opponent back through your presence. That's how fighting games work. And eventually, before they know it, they have lost the stage control and are now having to deal with a fat crocodile with normals that deal like 20% per hit.
Types of matchups, because King K. Rool, he's a character who not necessarily revolves around neutral, but has a very complex neutral, and when he forces neutral, he can usually win most of the scenarios in the game, but he won't have many tools against these projectile-based characters, because he can throw his Crown, right, and that would go through projectiles, but he still has to get in and close in the gap to deal that damage, and then he will force neutral again with Cannonball and Crown. So he kind of puts himself in his own bad situation, which is just the way the character is designed, and he just doesn't do very well against these types of characters. So how do we get around playing these types of characters as King K. Rool? Well, this is a type of playstyle as King K. Rool players that we have to learn and adapt to, which is being able to get into a character's face and not necessarily wanting to go back into neutral or go back into using your Cannonball as King K.
Indeed, with King K. Rool, it can be a very aggressive character when he wants to, and he revolves around Touch of Death in you.
You kind of want to be in their face dealing a lot of damage, and that's kind of hard as a King K. Rool player because Crown and Cannonball are such essential moves, especially Crown.
No, they're by no means essential. They're good, but they're not essential, which is why high level K. Rool players just aren't seeing spamming Crown because it's shit.
When it comes to King K. Rool's kit, Cannonball's great for edge guarding. Crown can be
Cannonball edge guarding? No, it's for forcing low recoveries for you to dead edge guard. Not good for it directly.
used for edge guarding. It's just used.
Crown is used for control. Crown is a control move. And also a combo tool, but like the combos never work.
In so many different scenarios, it's kind of hard to think, okay, I'm not going to use these types of moves. It seems as though you're kind of playing a grappler like Donkey Kong or something like that.
Because he is a grappler. Well, not directly a grappler, but like he does grapple. I guess he does have a command throw. I guess he could become a grappler actually. Well, wait, most of his throw. I mean, every throw he has is great, except for like Blunderbutt's back and up throw.
But you're not. And these are types of playstyles you're going to have to adapt, especially against characters like Mega Man.
Well, yes, adopting multiple playstyles of King K. Rool is pivotal to being successful in him. Yes, indeed. But just not in the way you're framing it.
And Snake has to have room to throw grenades or to do any of his setups, so if you're in his face and not letting him set up or not letting him land, Snake can't set up all of his grenade drops and C4 combos and up smashes. In these types of matchups as King K. Rool,
he seems to be framing King K. Rool as a zoner. Like, with how he wants to say to force neutral stuff, like, why are you forcing neutral when you're winning? Like, you could do that if you were concerned about, like, big disadvantage drops, just like, why? You don't need to. I guess you could retreat space while still keeping advantage state, which is something that's very good, but like I don't know why you would do anything else. I don't think you would ever like go to the extent of neutral.
Often find yourself being edge guarded or put onto the ledge, because against projectile based characters, that's just what happens. You just get forced off stage and you basically just lose all the space that you gained on the stage, which is not good. And which I made a guide on how to recover as playing King K. Rool. That will be linked in the description. There will also be an iCard to that, but I definitely suggest you check that out. I'm gonna.
No, don't. Whatever you do, do not.
briefly touch upon some of those topics in this video. Okay, so one of the main tools that I realized when playing King K. Rool that a lot of King K. Rool players just frankly forget about is the ability to save your double jump. Double jump with King K. Rool is actually probably one of his most useful tools, and people, they often forget about it because it will save you in most situations that you don't even think about. Because here's the thing, King K. Rool's up B is extremely good when it comes to vertical distance, but when it comes to horizontal distance, it's not the best. So I would probably say 85% of the scenarios when it comes to bad matchups with King K. Rool, you're going to be forced off stage. When you're being forced off stage, you have to be able to learn how to DI away from attacks instead of using an air dodge all the time, because using air dodges with King K. Rool can become extremely predictable. I can pretty much guarantee that if you mix up your ways of recovering as King K. Rool, you will have a significantly better chance of getting back to the stage because people won't be exactly sure what you're going to be doing once you're off stage and trying to recover. When it comes to pluses, King K. Rool has a lot of advantages.
He doesn't mention up air once in respect to like maintaining double jump, as well as like using gotcha count hit stun to delay yourself. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Other heavies and standard characters with balanced playstyles like, you know, Captain Falcon, Robin.
Falcon is a balanced playstyle, he's a rushdown as fuck.
Ryu, Ken, Cloud will have a lot of trouble when playing against King K. Rool because of his projectile game and ability to just outlive them. King K. Rool is one of those characters that he's the second heaviest character in the game. He's only like 2 units less than Bowser, so he'll outlive a lot of attacks that are thrown against characters who have balanced playstyles, really. King K. Rool's mix-ups and projectiles is what simply makes him better than a lot of the heavyweights in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Other heavies typically don't have the projectile game that King K. Rool has, leading them to getting comboed by the crown quite easily. Ganondorf is one of those characters that has to be straight up in your face, and he has to get that one really strong blow to kill you. King K. Rool has setups to do that. He has down throw. He has crown into crown sliding, crown bouncing, crown squatting, all the different options that I spoke about earlier with King K. Rool. He has those, in which a lot of heavyweights just simply don't have. With good gameplay, characters like Bowser and Ganondorf should be relatively easy matches for King K. Rool. Even other heavyweights like Incineroar, they can simply be gent by neutral air. King K. Rool is one of those characters that a lot of people sleep on in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but with proper gameplay, proper knowledge of how to use the character, you have a lot of options when playing King K. Rool.
Yeah, it's alright, it's not great, it's just very on the surface.
Okay, so King K. Rool's combo game is pretty decent. He has a lot more combos than most super heavyweights in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
No, definitely less. His combo game is quite limited, it's just that what he has is absurd.
But he's not like a Donkey Kong or anything like that where he can just up throw into up air and he has so many things he can use up throw. King K. Rool has a decent amount of combos, but this character mainly focuses on the amount of gimmicks that he has in his...
No, he's not gimmicky, he's fundamentals. He's fundamentals, obviously he has a lot of cheese, but he's not really like gimmicky. He's not a gimmick character, because gimmick implies that the character is options are bad. Like, gimmick is often referred to in a derogatory manner. And this isn't really derogatory.
Toolkit, so let's discuss some of the combos that King K. Rool has. One of the best low damage combos King K. Rool, and it's also very good for starting off a match, is forward throw into dash attack. This combo deals a meaty 31% damage, which is a hefty amount of damage, and this doesn't really combo at any higher percents, so from anywhere from 0 to about 10%, maybe 15, I would use forward throw in the dash attack, but anything higher than that, I would not recommend this combo. Now, countering is kind of self-explanatory when playing King K. Rool. Countering...
He fails to mention that when it comes to forward throw dash attack, you can't interact with it, because the throw deals low enough damage to deal non-double hit stun, but also, because it's the throw, you can't SDI it either. So, you can literally do forward throw dash attack in training mode, it'll be exactly the same as it is in-game. As long as you don't have enough rage to force it into being a tumble hit stun, you'll be fine.
It literally combos into everything. Some of the most recommended combos that most people do, and which I also do myself, is countering into up tilt, countering into forward tilt, and countering into grab. Also, forward aerial can work with countering.
Crown is into up tilt is suboptimal. Just do jab instead if you want to do that.
but forward aerial is kind of risky. But the thing about Crown
Forward air isn't risky at all. It's one of your safest moves on whiff. If you miss it, you're fine. Well, in fact, it may have been enough hit stuff for you to try up air anyway.
countering is that it really only combos once the second hit comes back towards you.
Yes, because the forward hit is a decided combo.
That's when countering has its combo potential to it, but anything besides that, countering can't really be a good combo tool. So a lot of combos with King K. Rool also go with neutral air and with forward air, but I'll start off with neutral air first. Neutral air has a couple of combos, like for instance, it trips at 40%, which can lead into a free punish, grab, or really whatever you want to lead it into. And at higher percents, you can make the opponent go into a tech situation possibly, setting up for a jab lock combo for a kill. But also neutral air can also lead into up tilt, which is really good for keeping your opponent away from you and setting up that neutral, as with King K. Rool, you wouldn't be able to have a good balance between the neutral game and a good close-up punish game to deal that close-in damage with down.
Here, yeah, there was no way you were going to get a jab for her. By that point, they were already in a default state, so they would be able to like get up attack that. It's a good example though, but just not like a practical one. Generally, want to use down air to lock them when you tech chase at first, and then jab lock twice into forward smash. Hold on, not forward smash. What dash attack?
Down smash and forward tilt. So those are a couple of ideas that are combos which you can go for.
That's so fake!
Neutral air is one of those moves that it can be very finicky when it comes to combos, but once you land the neutral air into like a trip or something like that, it can get some mean setups. And then we have.
So he's talking about tripping. It's because like as like zero and stuff, because of the low knockback and the hit and knockback angle, it can actually trip for a little bit. I think it's like for like zeros or like 20% ish. I think it is.
Forward aerial combos in the dash attack and up tilt at low percents.
You don't up tilt there, you're jab. But even then, why are you doing that? Grab the fucker. You can grab them and up throw instead. Maximum damage.
Forward aerial, it's really good because you can space with it, you can combo with it. You can also fling opponents into cannonballs at mid percents with forward air, even though it's not the most recommended of things because it's relatively hard to do. So
it's not that hard.
I wouldn't use it all the time. Forward air also goes into down tilt at 0% against big body characters, your really heavy superweight characters. That's when you want to use.
That's not true. You can do this, you just have to be frame perfect. If you want a good opportunity, ledge camp have to take it to stock at 0%. Do a ledge release into rising forward air, and you have maximum hit advantage. You can down tilt from there, do a knockback storage, send them off stage afterwards. Yeah. Fun character. That's probably the only way you're going to do it, because like perfect landing is extremely difficult with forward air. Because it's the way it comes out, its hit frame style makes it very unwieldy. So don't recommend to go for down tilt at all. Unless you do it in that scenario I just mentioned. It's just very specific.
Combos like that. And also back aerial at mid percents can go into itself, also into a
Not into itself. It's a dash attack, yes though.
spike near the ledge, which is really
What the fuck is that?
useful if you want to get some really cool janky combos off, and in which back air is not something you're probably going to combo on a really high skill, high level player, but against a mid-level player you may be able to pull off that combo. King K. Rool is one of those characters who has some combos but not a ton where he can really work off of. He's more of a character where he'll deal his damage from his range attacks, and then he'll close in on you and deal some damage, and then he'll space you out with his range attacks. He's like a mix.
What the fuck is that? Up throw to like up smash? What the fuck? No.
Mixture of both. He's like ice and fire. If you know how to use both of them in their correct situations, you can really win some tough games with King K. Rool. Okay everyone, that's gonna be the end of the video. Don't forget
Thank God.
to like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you everyone in the King K. Rool Discord who put their hard effort and work into this video. Plaguerun Karma, DK Davey, Ag1 Plus, all of you guys. Thank you so much for helping me out with this guide. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while.
Wait, did you mention like down air at ledge?
while on the channel. It's just the channel wasn't big enough, and now that I have the King K. Rool Discord supporting me, it's just absolutely amazing. So thank you guys for all of your help. If you're new to the channel, I highly suggest you subscribe because I'm doing a giveaway. A link to that will be in the description. It is a giveaway for a King K. Rool amiibo, and it will be ending on March 1st. So please make sure that you enter in that giveaway if you want to try to get that King K. Rool amiibo. My link to my social media will be in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to like and share it with a friend. Also, don't forget to use the hashtag ThickBoyNation in the comment section. Who knows, it may feature some comments. I'm not sure. It may do that. I don't know. Sounds fun. It may do it. Anyways, guys, my name is Phantom Phoenix, and I'll see you all next time on Dark Sparks Gaming.
Oh man, that was a wild ride of a guide. The most notable thing is that it's from a time when we were very under-optimized, so the guide obviously lots of optimal things mentioned. So, what you saw here was the standard King K. Rool take. The standard misunderstandings of the character, although they still have like moments of lucidity. It's very mediocre, painfully mediocre. It's like there's some takes in that are like still quite modern because obviously like we did optimize some things obviously, so not everything is wrong. It's just that it's criminally outdated. To anybody who's watched this guide recently and took their takes into account, just forget about all of it and watch Smithers' guide instead, which is much better. Or you can watch my commentary on it on my own channel, which is better. I'd even say that like that would probably be like the best watching thing. Well, at the same time, that's like 5 hours of King K. Rool. I don't think anyone wants that. Yeah, I'm glad I've done this because I definitely I've wanted to talk about this for a very long time. I personally don't like this guide. Because like even for the time, I didn't like it much because a lot of my words were twisted. Like it's isn't his fault. It's just that my wording was very poor back then. I was still like learning some certain English nuances and stuff, so I obviously got lots of things off wrong. I feel horrible for anybody who's like actually like taken this stuff to heart, especially the fact that my gameplay there was so poor, which I just realised may have actually been the reason why some people don't think I'm very bad. Wow, that was some awful gameplay. Wow, I can't believe I used to be like that. Like I look at my old replays now, I just think, what the fuck was wrong with me? Like, why was I like that? It's awful. But yeah, like Dark Sparks Gaming, like I do miss the guy. But like at the same time, like I had lots of fallouts and stuff because like just a lot of stuff happened. But I miss his old content though. Like this kind of content from him, like back then, was really cool. I just wish he was like more communicative, but like that's fine. You don't have to be communicative. I mean, obviously it does hurt you in the long run, but like people have their reasons, you know. He's a cool dude. But yeah, like, this guy is awful for now. Oh my god. Anyway, thank you for hearing me out. Just like generally just sitting around listening to me ramble on for an hour and 48 minutes. Because that's my kind of thing now for some reason. I don't like this type of content. It feels like poaching, because like, but I mean, people like what I've done here so far, so I thought I may as well like start doing it a bit more. And also, you know, maybe I could call this Kremlin commentary, can't I? Actually, I think I'd suggest that Dark Sparks Gaming. I think he actually started doing it. I don't know. Depends. I may do this for more guides. Because I do think I may be able to like apply different nuances to each take, but they'll mostly the same and mostly quite bad. This character is very misunderstood, and I wouldn't be shocked if this old guide has been the main result of that. Because a lot of the takes here remind me of stuff that I hear people say today, like mid-level players, or people just don't understand the character. At the same time, it's weird how some of these things actually did age quite well, though. It's interesting. just goes to show how meta progression works. You see what the things we optimized, like the simpler things, you notice that like everything was correct, but then the more things that were complex, so we didn't understand at first. You see that they sort of evolved significantly. We actually say, oh no, this isn't bad, it's actually amazing. But anyway, that's everything. May do this again soon, I don't know, depends how I feel. Catch you later.